has to power. Nubian has to power. Nubian has to power. Nubian has to power. Nubian has to power.
Welcome to our first episode of Nubian Paths to Power. Ka Pama, Nubian Paths to Power. I am King Aijalon, the Ansubu of Lower African Minds and Joint African Market. On Lower African Mind Media, we have this platform where we'll allow ourselves to be ourselves. And today we've been ourselves with our host, Kelly Kitt, AKA Makatora. And we have the one and only Indigo Queen, Jaja. And I'm going to turn this over to our host so we can get started. We hope you stay tuned in, like, subscribe, and comment.
Thank you very much for this wonderful introduction. So first and foremost, I would like to welcome you, Ja. And I would like you to introduce yourself to us and let us know who you are by first introducing yourself with your name and just a brief introduction on who you are and how you arrived here today, basically.
Because you have many titles. What title do you prefer today, Your Majesty?
Today, I'm just simply being a goddess. But so for those of you guys who don't know, I do go by Ja or Ja Indigo. I actually host a radio show in Sacramento, California. And the name of my show was called The Queen's Table. And what I have going on there is pretty much, I focus on artists, whether they're musically inclined, whether it's an entrepreneur that may be making clothes, jewelry, or whatever the case may be. And I also focus on what's going on in the community. So that's my primary job. I also am an artist myself. I create jewelry, and I've been told that I'm something like a stylist. So I style a few people. I'm new in that genre. And really, I'm just really all about empowering women. So that's really me in a nutshell at this time.
Amazing. I would like to agree in terms of the stylist role that you've been assigned to. I would definitely say your style is beautiful. I love the colors and I love the hair and just the way you've put it all together. Yeah, I'm inspired. I'm very inspired. And
I have to say, I'm loving the whole look too. That is really cute.
Thank you. Thank you. So talking about inspiration, I would like to know what inspired you to get that creative flow going, because it started from somewhere. I'm really interested to understand or to discover what inspired you to get into what you're doing now.
So really, to be transparent, it really all started, I was in a really low place, honestly. And I had been dealing with family matters, relationship matters. I had been kind of moving around in different areas from Sacramento to the Bay Area. And I was working my ass off. So I worked for corporate America for a long time. I had been working in San Francisco. I did insurance billing at the time. And I don't know if you're in a really high traffic area, but San Francisco is crazy. I literally had to be up at 4 a.m. My work shift started at 9 and the traffic is ridiculous. I'm on a bus for all of this time embarked. I don't get home until 9. So my whole day, night is work. And I was slaving and I ended up having like an anxiety attack. And I knew that I needed to scale back. I got 3 kids, like I said, dealing with family matters, relationship matters. I just was so overwhelmed with life. Before that though, I was a hairstylist. So when I first graduated from high school, I've always had an artistic passion. So I did hair for 10 years. always been into, you know, fashion and things like that. I used to do music as well. I call myself a rapper back in the day. So I always had this artistic bug. But as you know, artists don't really make money like that. You know, it's really just a passion until you reach a certain level. So I had to step away from that, get into the corporate field, and it just was nothing that I didn't love it, but the money was cool. But again, going back to where I was dealing with a lot of family issues, relationship issues, and I came to a very low place. I had the anxiety attack, and I knew that I needed to scale back. My kids were suffering, just everything in life was suffering for me. So what I did was I got into this creative mode. I started to look within. Started to get into spirituality, into crystals, into learning more about who I am as a woman, as a goddess. I always know that I've been strong, but I'm like, what is the driving force? It's got to be more than God. It has to be more. And I would go chill by the water, and all of this stuff really started to motivate me to want to, this artistic monster was coming out, and I had to do something with it. So I left my job and I went on and started to create my earrings, and I would just wear them around at festivals and things like that. And then I started to do the flea market, and it just started to really roll from there. It was crazy how it was rolling. Like, people were really like loving me and accepting me. And I just started getting all of these connections to go to all these different events and things like that. And it just inspired me to create more. And it just felt so good. And I can't say the money had gotten to the corporate level of money, but the passion and the love I was getting was fulfilling to me. And it just felt so comfortable and so right. So that's how it initially started. And I would be at events where artists were, comedy shows, and just where people were singing, just all these different events, festivals and stuff like that. And I started to network with these type of people, and I really love what they did. So that's how I got into the radio part of it. And so I was presented. I actually hopped back into insurance for a little while, and someone had met me, and they loved my character. They loved me, and was like, hey, I'm starting up this radio show, and I think you would be a great addition to the show. And from there, it was just crazy how it happened. From there, we connected. It was a guy, and we doubled up on the show, and he decided he wanted to go. And he left it to me. He's like, you can handle this. You got this. And I'm like, no, I don't know what I'm doing. What do you mean? And it just flowed. There goes my creativity again. I had to come up with the format of what I'm going to do, just everything, just learn it all myself. And again, people just came. It just came. And next thing I know, I started to get into what I love, what was important to me. So with the Queen's Table, I started to reach out to my ladies and bringing them onto the show. And we would discuss topics that were relevant, what's going on. I would reach out to the community. That's how I met Aijalon, and find what's going on in the community, because that's always been special to me, because my family has been really involved in the community. My dad was a Black Panther. My brother just inspired a whole movement here in the Bay Area. So for those of you who may not know, my brother is Mac Dre. Mac Dre just really just cast his light on everybody. And so we lost him back in 2004. And that really motivated me to get into the community, because I didn't like how he was being represented in not necessarily within the community, but the way that the other folks seen him. And I had to make a change, because we didn't come from that. That's not who we are. So that's what got me involved in the community and doing things in the community and reaching out to my brothers and my sisters to change the narrative, to be part of changing that narrative. And it really started with me, my family, my brother, and just the narrative of us as Black people, period. So that's really how I know I try to keep it short, but it's just so thick. It's so much to where I am today.
Oh, do you know what? I could continue to listen, because I'm hearing so many different, it's colorful, it's vibrant, and it's a journey that is like a transformation from one stage to another. So it just feels like it's ever growing, so as brief as you've made it, it's, and one thing I really want to get into, your brother and the legacy that he's left behind with you know with his work. But I still want to understand and get an idea of your name is Jar Indigo.
Yes.
And how did you tell me about how that name came about?
Sure. So I go by Ja because really it's a condensed version of my name, which is actually, my mom was so bougie. So my name is Jacquel. And nobody here is going to say that, say it like that. They would always, or just so different, Jackwell, Jaquil, all these different, and they could say it right. So my mom would call me Jaja when I was little. And then I was like, I had adjusted when I got older. I just started to go by Ja. So really it's just a condensed version, shortened version of my actual name. But then it started to really resonate with me when I really got comfortable with it, because it was still just, it didn't have a real meaning at first. And then when I started to, like I said, get into spiritual realm and understanding who I am, I was like, this is the perfect name for me. I'm a goddess, you know, I'm here to enlighten, to help, to not to think I'm above anybody, but I know my light shines, you know, and I know that I have a purpose here. And I know that I'm here to be a beacon, to help, you know, to love and things like that. So it just started, I started to really feel Ja. And then the indigo part came when I started just feeling like I felt different at the same time. I've separated myself from the crowd and the people that I used to be around. I always knew that I was different. And so I've always been into like the supernatural. I've always been into like the universe and things like that. And I started to get into what an indigo child was and what it represents, you know, like star seeds and things like that. And I was like, man, I feel like that. I feel like I have something inside of me that's different, you know, this artistic way, the way that I communicate with people, the people that I used to be with has been so different. I felt so different from them. So that's really where my name came from. And it just stuck.
Yeah, beautiful. It vibrates so much energy. So that's why I wanted to really understand what it meant. And yeah, but we have Ansubu, King Aijalon wants to say something.
Now, when we just identified, when you are chosen, many are called, few are chosen. You go through a depression, you disattach yourself, you feel awkward, you feel like you don't fit in. That's when we do the inside work. We uprise, we rise up, we touch our pineal gland, our pituitary gland, a spark comes, and we know we're a star child, a star seed. We feel the indigo vibration, and now we have to be activated to do something to make life better for ourselves and others. As we continue with this interview with the Indigo Queen, Jaja, we will discover more particles of how we go into the process of worldwide African unity by identifying ourselves. Identity produces destiny. Now, quickly, global white supremacy, institutional racism will make you think something wrong with your hair, your nose, your eyes. At the beginning, we've seen the two queens, the two empresses, the two goddesses complement each other. So for you sisters out there who are having problems with your sister, try complimenting each other. Whatever you do, our children will follow, the men will get in line, and we will be in alignment. It's a new day and a new time. Let's get back to the interview.
Thank you. Yeah, I do believe it's important for us as sisters, women, queens, goddesses to compliment each other, because sometimes we may not hear a compliment throughout the whole day, you know, or sometimes we may need to be having that little pickup for a few moments. So, you know, kindness goes a long way, and you never know who might need it when. So when we call to be kind, I believe that there's always a reason. So yeah, I definitely think that compliments are important. But yeah,
better to be kind, to give a compliment. It feels good to a compliment, a sincere compliment.
Definitely, it does.
let me say this. When I was coming up, right, they had the Panthers, right? My mother and father was a part of that, and the community looked out for each other. And somehow it flipped. The pimp took over, and the gangster and the dope dealer took over. And we got a mirror and practiced me mugging each other. And what you're looking at, but it feels so better to say, "Hey, sis, hey, bro, you looking good today. You doing your thing. This is us. We here. We started at the bottom and we moving to the top. And so everything will rise. And one thing I can tell you, when I met the Indigo Queen in person, her personality announced itself before you even got there, and everybody was wearing smiles. She did an event, I guess she'll explain that later on, when she did the queendom. And she brought the queens and they did their things, and us kings had to salute. Meaning, I've seen this sister transform men. So if you have a man that's not respecting you or not giving you the energy that you want, sometimes you have to do like this sister, go inside yourself, look in your soul, and just lift yourself up to your energy, and then you'll be in line, right, with your true you, and all that belongs to you, it will come hug you.
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed.
Very powerful words. So yeah, as you were saying, you get involved in the community and you organize events, and I was told that you do a lot of interviews and you interview a lot of artists in the area. So tell me how you got into that. I would like to know a bit more about the type of artists that you interview in your area.
Sure. So really, I really open my platform to really all upcoming artists. I have interviewed some notable artists here around the Bay Area and Sacramento area, but I really like to reach down into the soil and give a spotlight to those who are really, putting in the work, but they're not being recognized for what they're doing. And I like to give them the opportunity to share their journey, because we learn so much from people and what they've been through. It allows us to be able to really relate and understand that, how it's so interesting when I interview artists and I see what they come from and what's motivated them to really stick to what they're doing, whether it's singing or rapping or whatever the case may be. It's just so interesting, some of the really tough hardships that they go through, and how this is a way to release those pressures and things that they're going through. This is their way to get that out. So as far as how I really get these people, they really come to me. I can't lie. I don't have to do a lot of work to get them to come. They come. I give all praises to God that they come my way. And I don't really turn anybody down, to be honest. There may be some people that aren't that great. And I've been told, that, why are you interviewing them? Or they're not that hot. But I feel like everybody deserves a chance. And that's what I'm here for, to give them a chance to present themselves. And I like to inject positivity into them. And maybe, some constructive criticism if need be. But I like to be a positive place, because there's so many places and stations and people that they deal with that give them a hard time. I like them to come onto the Queen's table and feel honored and really elevate them, because I've seen people come on and they've taken their whether it's their interview skills or their music or their social content and things that they're doing to another level. And sometimes I like to think that I might have helped them to do that, to feel more confident and elevate what they're doing. So yeah, like I said, they really just come my way. They really just come my way, and it's a blessing.
I just want to interject before you ask the next question. And this is a personal question for me. We told the audience that Mac Dre is your brother. And personally, I just want to know, how has being Mac Dre's sister impacted you as far as people having expectations of you as his sister? And did you have to rebrand yourself and become Jaja?
Great question. As far as him, with him being my brother, I guess people have an expectation of me, but the expectation that they have isn't really me. The expectation that people have is that I'm going to be hard and a thug and a gangster and, you know, like this mean type of person, you know, street, really street. And there was a time that I felt that it felt natural to be that way, you know. But like I said, it never really felt like me though. You know, I always really felt different than being like that. And I've had family members that I felt that took on that persona, and I knew that really wasn't them either. But that's their journey. So I speak to me as far as having him as my brother, yes, there was an expectation of greatness, yes, because he was definitely a great man, but the greatness was to a degree of like some hood type, you know what I'm saying? And so once I understood as I got older and I understood exactly who I was and that I'm not trying to be Mac Dre, and by no means do I want to be a rapper, do I want to be this tough hood female hardcore, you know, gangsta. I got plenty tats, so trust and believe there was a time that was really the element that I was in, and I was around a lot of people that was like that, but inside that was not me. So once I really became comfortable with who Ja was, like I said, that spiritual journey, that awakening that happened, it was really before the Aquarius transition. It happened for me 2 years ago that I just woke up. I was really in prayer. I think that anxiety did it for me. It really woke me up to, girl, this ain't you. You know, I need you to be you. And I left the perms alone. I don't know if that had anything to do with it, but I did leave the perms. Like now it's natural, you know, hairstyles for me, just understanding who I was. And I had no desire to want to be anything like my brother. Great, yes, because I want to carry on our legacy from our last, for the Hicks legacy. So I want to be a beacon of greatness, because truly that's what he was. He just was caught up in that, you know, that world. But I'm just so focused on creating my own lane and being who I am. So I don't even care about that. No, I get a lot of people that will say little things. Oh, you Dre sister. Oh, I'm gonna take your card if you this, that, and the other. Okay, whatever. I'm me, and I'm okay. You know.
So I want to say this before Kelly get in. I just want to make a statement, some clarification. Mac Dre is a persona. Andre Hicks is a real person, a family man. I grew up around that family. His father, like she told you, was a Black Panther. If you look into Dre lyrics, he always threw some Black Power lugs. And he has one song dedicated, full of information. The man was a genius. The man was insightful. He knew what was going on. And he was building his platform up, not just for the hypey thing, but like Tupac. So when they got to a certain peak, they were going to be a voice about what was really going on. So don't sleep on Dre. Just think about the hypey movie. Listen to some of those things that he said, right, to take us to the next level. Okay.
Right.
Yeah, that's powerful. There you go.
For the question, entirety, did you? I feel like you asked me a little bit more.
Me?
Yes. Did I answer?
Really, I was making a statement because a lot of people listen to Dre and they don't know. Like you said, can you hear me?
Yeah.
We got disconnect. Is she on? Can she hear me?
Yes. I think her internet's lagging a little tiny bit, but she's back. Yeah.
She's back home. Okay, yeah. So I was making a statement, something that me and you had talked about, right? About you know, your family in that area, and Dre had the information, and I just wanted people to be clear, right? That Mac Dre, the persona, and Andre Hicks, the person. Andre Hicks had a lot of wealth and knowledge, right? He lived what was going on, and he was his father's son, and so he knew information about the Black Panthers and what's going on in the Black community. If you want to elaborate, you can touch that because I don't think many people look at the whole picture.
Yeah, no, they don't. He definitely was ahead of his time to me as far as like who I knew. I didn't know Mac Dre. You know, I knew, like you said, Andre Hicks. I knew the brother, the caring person, the giving person. And he was giving to a flaw, which to me, I feel like was part of his demise, you know, wanting to bring everybody on and wanting to, help everybody elevate, you know, but at that time, everybody wasn't ready for that and didn't understand really what his mission was, but he definitely was a leader. And all the pimp, you know, because everybody want to chalk him up as like, you know, a pimp, gangster, thug. Like you said, that was Mac Dre, that was a persona. And I definitely know and believe from the cloth we were cut from that it was so much more that was going to be coming, because I know what he invested in me all the time. If you don't know much, you can't do much. He would tell me that all the time. He would tell me how important it was to read and, you know, be smart in school, do like all that pimp and hoe stuff. Definitely was not nothing that he invested in me. My niece was a little girl, so she didn't get the opportunity to be able to get that wealth of knowledge, you know, because, you know, some people will see her and they see a different light in her, but I know one day she's going to wake up and be able to see the light too. But so she wasn't able to really get that, you know, divested into her. But for me, he was definitely on top of that and really about turning things around and showing up, you know, in a positive light. So.
And you transfer that knowledge and that, you know, that motivation that he gave you into your work, basically, yes, into your community work, and also into everything that you do, because you can see, I can sense that your creativity comes from a pure place, and it just emanates, you know, it emanates out into the universe and just creates so many, you know, great opportunities for other people as well. So I just really wanted to just say, you know, thank you for that, because, you know, as an artist myself, or as a mother, you know, we always look for entrepreneurial inspiration, women that are out there doing something and showing us that you can overcome, you can push through certain barriers. And, you know, I feel that what you've showed us and what you've told us about yourself and through your work and your experience has really transpired that, you know, there's a sense of resilience that that is quite inspirational. And again, talking about your brother's legacy, do you feel that, you know, that's something that he transpired into you, and that's something that, as you say, is important for other people to understand, to shed a better light that's been left behind, basically, you know, for the community? Do you feel that that's important for the youngers as well, because they're the next generation, you know?
It is very important. I feel like as far as the legacy goes, to just, you know, give a female perspective of how to be great, how you can be great, because you don't always have to. There's so many replicas of Mac Dre. Everybody wants to be Mac Dre. And forgive me, because maybe not everybody, but I think it's fair to say that there is a good amount of people who really mimicked Dre, took bits and pieces of Dre and tried to be him. I mean, he had a song that he literally said, "You niggas want to be me." And forgive me for saying niggas, but that was the song. And
we keep it real, Chair. We keep it real, Chair.
So he had that much in. I just want to use that. If I'm going to use Mac Dre in a sense, I want to use that to show people that you can be so much more and so much greater than just, you know, a rapper, you know, like everybody wants to do that same thing. And there's so many more avenues you can take. Like, for instance, with me with the radio, you know, there's not many people that even got into that. Now podcasts and stuff like that, it's become a thing because now, you know, we've been quarantined and stuff like that, and we're trying to make the best of the time that we have. But, you know, nobody getting into radio before. And that was something that people could have did when Dre took off, but everybody wanted to do the rap thing and the pimp thing. You could have got into, you know, fashion. There's so many things that were, you know, other pieces of Dre that people could take and have done more with instead of taking that avenue. So I'm here to show that it is possible to do so much more as an entrepreneur than just that same old. We got to change the narrative of that. You know, for our Black men, for our Black boys, I have a 17-year-old who, yes, right now he thinks that's the way to go. He wants to be a rapper like his uncle. And I'm trying to show him that he can do so much more than just that though. You know, it's so much more that you can do. So I just want to kind of show that to our young ladies and to our young men, that it's more. I hope he inspired you to want to be great in other ways too. You know, even if you want to have that spotlight, you can do it in so many other ways.
Yeah, because you can, like you said, I think you mentioned transferring your skills through. So for example, you may have songwriting skills, but then you can transfer those skills and teach, become a teacher, or become, use rapping or songwriting to help children to learn how to read or to write or to express themselves. So there's a way to transfer, you know, your skills. And, you know, I feel like this industry is so flexible. It's a flexible industry. It's never really just one straightforward journey. I mean, you can become, like, I went from singing to modeling, and then I kind of felt like that's not really for me, but you know, you kind of transfer, you jump through hoops. And what would your advice be to someone, essentially, even in lockdown, you know, what would your advice be for someone who's having career changes and they want to go from one craft to another without necessarily knowing how to, you know, transfer that, and from an entrepreneurial, you know, mindset? What would your advice be to someone like that from the creative industry?
Yeah, that was totally me. And thinking back on to what gave me the inspiration and motivation to do it, because sometimes I have to go back there. I can't lie. There have been moments that I have that I'm like, oh, I'm gonna put this down and go back to corporate. So all the time, you just have to really just get out there. You can't be afraid, because we a lot of times focus so much on being perfect, like, oh, I'm gonna do this, but I need this, and this. That's me. I do that too. I need to have this right. Oh, I need to get my phone, or you know, a new camera, or I need this equipment, or this, or I need this person. You just have to step out there with what you got and give it your all. It's gonna get better with time, you know. So if you're in corporate America and you're thinking about jumping into fashion, making clothes, on your own clothing line, just right now you could go with the very basic as a t-shirt, and online you can have someone just do a screen print of something. There's so many people right now that are advertising what they offer, whether it's art, you know, art promos. There's so many things that you can just Google now and be able to get stickers or someone to do a logo for you. You can start off with basic logo. You know, you just cannot be afraid think that you got to have it to perfection, because at the end of the day, if you are rocking it and you're wearing it and you're steady promoting it, at some point it's going to pick up, or you're going to learn to shift gears and do something. Okay, I need to tweak this here, you know, make a little change here. But if you never jump in, it's never going to happen. Literally never going to happen, because that's how I was. And sometimes, like I said, I go back now and I think, how did I do that? How did I just jump in and start doing that? You know? So.
Yeah, powerful. Thank you.
Point that we can sit on the couch, we can think all day, but action makes it possible. Yep. Stay active in your own dream and it will materialize. The amount of energy that you put into yourself is the value of what you're worth. Your energy is your worth. Okay.
Yep. And you just can't be discouraged. I just have to say, you can't be discouraged, because even if you jump in and it takes 1, 2, 3 years for you to start picking up, or for people to start liking, because you're going to be promoting on social media and things like that, you can't be discouraged because people ain't liking it or sharing it or whatever. They looking, they watching, they see firing. So make sure, because our expectations are way up here, and things happen gradually. It happens with time. We don't understand how Michael Jackson, or, you know, somebody really famous that you love, how they got to where they are. It was a lot of work that was put in. A lot of times that they were discouraged or felt like they didn't have it, or they needed this, that, and the other before they got to what we see, that flower bloom. So I would just say, stay the course, stay encouraged, even if your family ain't behind you, or your friend, significant other, or your kids, or the people that you thought supported you when you was out in the world wilding out and turning up and all of that, and they're not behind you or buying your product or wearing your product. Don't be discouraged, because it's going to be people way over there that you don't expect that's going to be there supporting, encouraging, and loving what you do. You just got to step out and do it with what you got.
So I want to switch it up a little bit. So thank you for telling us who you are and how you got to where, and how the entertainment industry groomed you for you to be able to be there for other people, and who your brother is, and who the rapper Mac Dre is. I really appreciate that. And we're going to be on the same topic, but I'm going to switch it over to the political climate, because there's definitely some things going around. And I remember you called me one day and asked me, was I ready? Right? And I'm like, am I ready? I stay ready, but ready for what? And you said, hey, they finna do this over here. And I'm, come on, I'm coming to get you. Well, I said, well, we got to meet with a fork in the road that needs to come. And I really enjoyed myself. I really felt that we were involved in making a change for our children. And also, it relates to the entertainment industry, because entertainers, sports figures, and singers and rappers got involved. Even her made a song. A lot of rappers did things. It made, and this is the point I'm trying to make, in the entertainment industry, it's connected to politics. Whether you want it or not, we are responsible for that change. So in the political climate, can you tell us how you feel about what you see? Because some people act like they don't see what's going on. And Kelly, maybe you can answer the question better than, but do you understand what I'm trying to get to, right?
Yeah.
Some things going on, and people really don't speak about it using their star power art as they coming up.
Right. So are you asking in terms of how are people using their creativity to empower others, or to create that, to alert them about the political climate that we're in at the moment, basically?
Exactly. She called me and she was aware, and I came to her show, and she had other people that's aware. And the impact that artists can also have of keeping this aware and going, instead of letting it die down and talking about your gold rope and your Nikes and your guns. It's a lot going on that we need to be speaking about. And I just want to know how she feel like the political climate right now, because we all voted for Kamala Harris and Joe Biden. We thought that was going to do something. We thought Obama was going to do something. They told us to hate Trump. But I think we got to do this for ourselves. I just want to know her insight.
Yeah, no, I totally agree with you. I mean, there is so many different angles on right now, politically. I mean, I could go on and on, but most importantly it's really about really self-knowledge and us coming together as a Black people, really unifying with one another. What we talked about a little earlier is about us as the ladies, because really we're the leaders. I truly believe that we have the influence over our men, over our children. And so I'm really proud of Kamala. I don't expect her to be a world changer at all, but I'm proud to know that we have a woman of color in office that has some input on what's going on. But most importantly, I think it's all about us really coming together, people, and really back to the way things used to be in regards to our elders, respecting our elders, and our elders holding us accountable and giving us the knowledge on being together and the importance of togetherness, because we have a breakdown in our families. I know we all feel that across the globe among Black people. You know, I'm for one on both sides of my families. I've seen the transition happen where we were all together and you're forgiving one another, and granny don't play that about, you know, certain things you don't do, you ain't supposed to do. Just, it was so different. The principles that we had in our family was so different, and we got to get back to that, because that'll allow us to make the major steps that we made back in the 60s and 70s when the Black Panthers were thriving. We would be so much stronger now with the force and the knowledge that we have, if we can get back to those old goals, to those core values. And it starts with the family. It starts with us, it starts with the core. But see, we are so distracted by the Nicki Minaj and the Cardi B's and the wanting to show, you know, our sexuality, which is great, but we're so focused on that we are getting away from really guiding our young women into being pioneers. The Harriet Tubmans, that, you
Let me
know,
interject here.
I'm really
And
that.
I don't mean to cut you off, but let me interject this. My auntie just came to the door, and I told her I was doing an interview, and she said, "With who?" You know, and I told her, she said, "I grew up. He was a strong member of the party, of the Panther Party." And so when I came back in, I heard you saying that we could be much further. I just wanted to feed off that energy, because we got older people who remember, but nobody want to sit at their feet and listen so we can carry the torch.
But the problem is, though, is that our youngsters don't. It's like they just have a disregard for respect of the elders. Like, even if, regardless if our OGs was on dope and lived that life, they got so much experience, wisdom, and knowledge that you gotta respect that. But they don't want to do that because they want to start, that nigga was on blow and, you know, all of this. Or that, she was hoeing back then. But do you realize that knowledge and experience that she got? You don't get knowledge and experience by living a straight and narrow path. You know, and you whatever, they don't understand that, you know. So it's this respect. And so I understand a point of the elders. They're like, why am I going to talk to these youngsters and they don't even respect, they, you know, they disregard and this, that, and the other. But somebody has to really, and I applaud you, Aijalon, because you definitely do that. I see you out there regardless of what anybody say about your past or whatever. You stay the course and you still be in their ear and on their line and showing them worldwide African unity, teaching them. I respect that so much. And I definitely want to continue to see that. And I aspire to be that way as well. So I'm really thankful and grateful for the past hardships that I've had and being able to be transparent enough to share my experiences, because sometimes I think people get away or want to look one way and afraid to share whether they was hoes or they was on dope or they was abused and, you know, got 5, 10 baby daddies. You know, sometimes it can be a shame, you know, cast it on. But those are the lessons that are gonna bless somebody else. But like I said, youngsters, this respecting it, but we gotta start when they're little. You know, we think it's funny them sagging and them talking back to your cousins and your auntie because you don't like them. You know, we like, that's our little subliminal way of getting back at them by letting the kid be disrespectful. You got to cut that. That cannot happen. That cannot be okay.
Not at all.
Yeah.
So I'm all about starting within. It starts within. When we get the within, when we start meditating, when we start understanding who we really are, when we start connecting sister to sister, brother to brother, and really listening and taking in that knowledge, and just knowing that we are kings and queens for real, you know, not just a namesake, but for real. You got to really feel that and respect your body, you know, respect your temple. Oh, it's just so deep. It's just so much. It starts here and then it's going to radiate out, and it starts in our home and our family. And I think once we get that, ain't no president, nobody in office can really help us until we really learn to help ourselves and respect one another and stop just like, oh, I don't care. Because we quick to say we don't care about your family. If you don't care about your family, then you don't care about the community, period.
Yeah.
We got to about our own.
So would you say that's kind of a solution that could be used for worldwide African unity, for each individual person to learn to work on themselves from within individually? So then when they all gather together, it creates an unbreakable, you know, it creates a better, just a better harmony within one another's, because we've all worked on ourselves from within on acknowledging the truth of who we truly are, basically.
I totally believe that, because I feel like if we love ourselves, I see so many of my I see a lot of my friends that suffer from lack of self-love. I was there. I'm still building my own, but it allows them to accept so many things that they know ain't right, whether it's with their children or their significant other, and they just are accepting it. It just goes to show how we are accepting what the government has given us and all the things that's going on in the community, because we accepting the bullshit that's going on in our homes that we can actually change, So yeah, that's my thought on it. As far as like I said, big politics, I don't put my faith in big politics. Do I voted? Yes, because I feel like my forefathers and foremothers went to bat for that. So I'm going to exercise the right to do that. But am my expectations for them to change my life? No, I don't expect that. I expect for me to work and change, and for my brothers and sisters to work on changing our lives. And that entrepreneur mindset definitely needs to happen more. We need to support one another more, even though we're gonna have flaws. The one thing that really irks my skin too is right now we got a lot of Black brothers and sisters that are doing their own businesses, but yet we still have the ones that sitting to the side that's knocking what they doing, whether it's talking about their customer service. Yeah, we definitely need to make sure our customer service is up to par, but you knocking the brother or sister customer service. You go to Walmart and you go to Macy's, Nordstrom, and you got you'll go back there to get all this Gucci and name brand or Walmart and get your dish soap and this, that, and other, but you're going to be so critical of your brother and sisters who is trying. Maybe they didn't get a little work. Give them some constructive feedback. That don't mean to go on social media and leave an imprint on others, not to support Black business, So a lot of my risks are really more locally, I feel like we get this local thing down packed that we could elevate to a higher level. Even when it comes to policing, I think for me, I'm not with the defunding the police. I think we're going to have to learn to work with them and get ourselves in however we're going to police ourselves, whether we have our own unit, but we got to work with them. We can't really defund them. I feel like we got to work with them we got to get across the board and work with them to be able to help fix that issue.
Let me jump in there. You said some really beautiful pieces to the puzzle. So white people are playing chess. It's black and white move first. Our ancestors left us the hieroglyphs. It's a jigsaw puzzle. And every jigsaw puzzle on the box has the picture. All you gotta do is take the pictures out, pick the pieces out, right? And fit them where they belong. If it don't fit, don't force it.
Right.
That goes from unhealthy relationship, unhealthy family, unhealthy jobs, unhealthy spending your money. If it doesn't fit, do not force it, because something is going to get torn or broken or hurt. Now, getting back to what you're saying, you was there when they were talking about defund the police, and I was saying they need to say diversify the funds, diversify the fund. You're right. And when they were saying fuck the police, I said we ain't fuck the police. It's stop murdering people and get back to community protection and services. It's the energy that you also send out. And another thing I just want to check back what you said with the Black businesses. Don't start a business, Black man or Black woman, if you're not ready to change your spiritual energy in your attitude and to be of a commercial person and customer service. Doesn't mean you have to be fake, but it means that you have to have enough energy where people feel comfortable. And Black people, stop the self-hating, right? We've been talking that we don't manufacture anything good. We built this goddamn I can't even cuss no more. We built this whole world, and we built quality in everything that we do. So we are the quality that you get from any other restaurant or any other place, right? We are the people in the back room that don't get credit. All the recipes come from us. So spend your Black dollar with Black people. That stops Black on Black crime. If you want to stop Black on Black crime, and you want to, what about Black on Black crime? It came into existence. Black people start building their own. When we build our own, we don't have no crime because there's no poverty. Oh, one last thing. Let me hit you with something. Boom, boom. Remember, At all times, global white supremacy racism have billion-dollar and million-dollar think tanks to keep the black men and women separated, to keep the kids in the prison, the jail, school, the prison pipeline, to label your kids early as autism or ADHD but to put drugs in them. It's just so many variables. If you don't do like Kelly Kid and Queen Jaja and Aijalon, know yourself, change your diet, meditate, get focused, and send out the energy that you want back. Send out the energy you want back. If you mean mug back.
I share.
Somebody, they gonna talk crazy back to you. Go ahead, Queen.
That's it. I share.
Okay, so we're coming close to the end, but I wanted to want to know what is coming up next for you in the future, in the near future. Your radio or your fashion or your connections to your waking up to our true Nubian selves, you know? Yeah, what's coming up for you coming up next?
Well, I'm at the table right now, actually, coming up with different ideas of things that I want to do, staying consistent with my radio, still putting out, content. I just want to improve my content and up my my social media more, getting kind of more involved with the community again, getting back out there. I hope, I don't know, 2021 will probably still be on lockdown. So just trying to figure other ways that I can really connect with the community still. I want to get back into that. I miss doing that. And then, of course, with my jewelry, I had slowed down a little bit because I was investing so much into the artists and radio. I am going to get back to creating some more unique pieces. So you can expect that, I would say, this summer that I'll be back out doing pop-ups. So there are pop-ups that are happening. So the ones that are available to me, you will see me back out there. And like I said, really just improving my content on my platform. I do want to get back to having group discussions. That was something that I used to have before on the radio table. So I do want to get back to dedicating a day out the month probably for having some kind of group discussion on hot topics on what's going on in the community. So I'm really just working on the calendar and including things that are really important to me. So, and I will be having some merchandise. So that'll be coming really soon. You'll see some merchandise, some shirts. I did it before. Like I said, that's why you can't be afraid to jump out there. I know what I need to do for my next batch. So you'll see some merch coming real soon.
So I want to say this right here, give John her props. When I was doing the Queens movement, I said I stopped focusing on the brothers and I started focusing on the sisters and telling the Queens, because I know whichever way the sisters go, the brothers go follow. Even though they want the brothers, even though the brothers want the woman to follow them, where is you leading them to? But if the sister see herself as a queen, she ain't gonna accept nobody but a king. But so said, I've watched in the Bay Area people I know go to Ja and buy her hair wraps and ask her how to wrap them. And so the hair wraps became a crown. And there was so many different styles, along with buying her jewelry. And they start walking, different. And they start reading and they start studying. And then the brothers had to say, hey, I want a crown because I want me a queen. So they start wanting bad bitches and wanting to be that nigga and they wanted to be the kings and queens. So I want to salute you because you started a whole movement. Okay, whether you know or not, you stay consistent. You were doing your thing. You was on the air, and people paid attention. Yes. And so, with this closing thing, this is for both of you goddesses who I admire, I respect, I honor, and I salute both of you.
Your sound. Yeah, check your sound.
Okay, can you
Yeah.
hear me now?
Yeah, we can hear you. Yeah.
When somebody call, it interrupts the whole thing.
Okay.
So what I said at the beginning, and I want to deal with this part because this is what Lord African Minds about, and y'all both mentioned Worldwide African Unity. So y'all saw it here. A sister born in Paris. She's Congolese. Her parents are from the Congo, raw, real. That they made a name for themselves. Africa is modern, and there's no African booty scratchers, and Americans are not all thugs. So with that being said, you two sisters from two different parts of the world, right? Because me listening to you, it looks like y'all right next to each other, grew up together. Is there a difference,
Right.
in this Black struggle where we can say Africans don't like us and African Americans don't like us? I want you to address that before we close this segment.
I'll let Indigo speak first if you'd like to.
There is no difference. I mean, at the end of the day, we experience the same struggle, the same prejudices. They're the same no matter where you are against the Black man and the Black woman. So, you know, for me, there is no difference. You know, but it goes back to a long time ago. We've always had this divide, this color divide, you know, from the light brights to the real darks. We've had that within our, somehow, some way it was constructed into our DNA. At the end of the day, though, there is no difference no matter where you are. We experience the same shit. You know, excuse me, but it's the truth. We have the same battles. We are still the same beings, you know, at the end of the day, no matter where God has placed you. So I don't believe that at all. I don't live by that. I don't receive it or accept it, you know. So I'm all about, at the end of the day, my brother and sister, whether they're in Africa, the UK, or whatever, you know, we are one and the same, and we must unify and make it happen. Come together and make it happen.
Exactly. That I agree. For me, I don't see any difference, and I tell people who see the difference that what makes us different is what actually connects us, because what you don't know is an opportunity to learn. What you don't know is an opportunity to expand yourself. And every time you learn something new, you're actually activating your DNA. You're changing your own DNA because you're getting new information, basically, or you're remembering information that you probably knew already that you forgot. So yeah, we're not any different. We're both sisters. We probably have, you know, get our hair from the same retailers if we get, you know, braids done or anything like that. So there's nothing that makes us different. It's an opportunity for us to get to know each other's better if there's any separation that we feel between each other's. And I say that to all the brothers and the sisters. What we don't know about each other's does not mean that it's out of your reach. You can learn. It's an opportunity to grow, basically, constantly. So yeah, no differences.
Absolutely.
So you heard it here on Lower African Minds, our newest show, Ka Pama, which is translated as Nubian Paths of Power. Nubian Paths of Power. We're here to lead us on Nubian Paths of Power. I'm going to make a simple distinction. We're all Africans. We're all in the struggle together. But when we go into our true Nubian souls, our true living Nubian souls, we are part of the solution. So Africans are in the same problem. True living Nubian souls, they're activated, they're in their spiritual self. We have a spiritual culture, we have a spiritual social understanding, and we are activated doing what's necessary to make it happen, not tomorrow, today.
Mm-hmm. Today, right now. Okay, so thank you for joining us today, Indigo. It's been a pleasure to have you here. It's been a pleasure. I really feel like we're all in the same room right now. I feel like, you know, we might be in different places, but the energy, we'll gather together, and it's been amazing to get to know you, discover you, and I look forward to hearing more from you to see what you create out of your divinity, basically. I look forward to it. Thank you.
being
And
on,
we,
guys. I look forward to working with you, honey. I can't wait till we can really make something happen. So we connected. Thank you for
Yeah.
having Aijalon.
Thank
got a
you. Thank you for
we
connecting
got an
us.
event coming up, and we need both of you sisters, right, to rock the mic on the stage as MCs and whatever else you do, okay?
Absolutely.
Make
You'll be
it
so much
happen. Bring that out into the universe. Okay. So thank you. And if you'd like to close. I should.
Oh, me?
Yes, you and Subi. Yeah, close the.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well,
Just a closing. Yeah.
one thing that we said we were going to do with Laura Kamais, we're going to start interjecting prayer. And so I'm going to pray us out. I should have prayed this in. Some call you Yahweh, some call you Allah. I call you Amin-Ra. Right now, there's a frequency happening inside the God particle that's touching our God genes as melanated people. Those who have this spiritual frequency are in their pineal gland and their pituitary gland. May we manifest righteous works, and may we use our faith with work and our works with faith, that the next generation may be solid and they may be in the order of my acts, doing righteousness for the harmony and band trinically of our planet and our people. Amen. And a woman, Amin-Ra Ashe.
Nubian paths to power. Nubian paths to power. Nubian paths to power. Nubian